The true authentic self is at the level of the soul. It is a soul made visible. This self does not need to be empowered. It already is empowered. And now I invite you to contemplate on this affirmation. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. The energy of Divine Spirit is within each and every person flowing through, touching heart to heart, always connected, always flowing so easily. A sublime joy, a percolating creative energy, uplifting and connecting and joining together in an eternal creative process of giving and receiving, receiving, giving, and loving without conditions. God is. God is all there is. I am grateful, so very grateful deep in my heart for all the gifts that every single being brings forth, creating a community of peace, acceptance, love, and creativity. The greatest energy ever. So I'm grateful for the technology that allows all of us to be connected across the globe. I know that from deep within the soul, this energy goes out into the infinite universe and filling everything with such light and grace. There's so much ease in being one. I'm grateful for the message to be delivered today from heart and soul of Reverend Suzette. I'm deeply thankful for all the tones and frequencies and the music that comes forth to give us joy and to inspire us along with the words of the message that all is well, truly well. And so I call it good, knowing this day unfolds perfectly. And I say, and so it is. And so now, shall we, yes, enjoy some more music from the fabulous Marcy Baruch and Janis Kelly.
Yeah.
Bring them up.
The meditation was so beautiful, Sylvia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Truth is so beautiful, isn't it? So powerful. This inner space has the power to set me free. It's the cavern of creation and the truth of you and me. This inner space, an eternity of time. It's the moment of the holy now, and the allness that is mine. This inner space contains all that I need from deep within the invisible invisible flows the living air I breathe. This inner space is flowing in my bones. It stirs my heart, it stirs my mind, and every prayer I've ever known. So I say, breathe, just breathe. Now breathe this peace. This inner space is the ocean of your soul, and when you feel most broken, it is also true you're whole. This inner space connects us one to all, and though it will never push you, it will break down every wall, every wall. So I say, breathe, just breathe. Now breathe this peace. For this inner space invites us to renew. In all our endless choosing, we become the chosen two. This inner space, it never knows the past. In a quiet place you can hear it, and it might just make you laugh. So I say, breathe, just breathe, beloved, breathe this peace. Of this inner space. Just stay in that silence. Stay with it.
Oh my God. It's hard to break that up, huh? Oh my goodness. Oh. All right, so I'm going to start out before my talk. I'd like every person that supported the ordination yesterday to stand up, if you can. Anybody that participated in any way, please give them a hand. I just, you know, it's funny. It reminded me of a marriage yesterday. The ceremony was much like a wedding. And it's the first time I got to actually do an ordination. I've been ordained, but I got to do the ordination. So it's like any wedding. When you go to a wedding, you hear the vows again. And so I heard the vows again to myself. And it's for a lifetime. So very profound. Very, very profound. Okay, so get the right thing in the right place. And turn the lights on and off. So today is everyone else is taken. Everyone else is taken. But what I'm really going to talk about is being authentic. Because each one of us are unique expressions of God. And I know, and I'll talk a little bit about this, it's sometimes scary, and it may feel like risky to be authentic. Anybody ever felt that one before? Good, all of us. The truth is the world is trying to fit us into a square peg into a round hole. And I don't know about you, but I don't fit very well. So the truth is we really need to know ourselves. So I have a video this morning. It's a very short video. And it's so funny, you know, whenever I'm going to give a talk, whatever I need always comes to me. I always get to experience it. I always get to be it. So this came to me. I have no idea where it came from. But it's a video of someone that just blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind. And I think the same will happen to you. So I'm going to let Martin go ahead and start with the video.
The first thing I Googled was how to teach dogs to shoot bow. And there's nothing out there like that because it's such a rare thing. My name is Matt Sussman. I'm from Fairfield, Iowa. And I'm a professional archer.
Well, that's how we shoot. There you go.
In 1982, I was born, as you see me right now, without any arms. I never see not having arms as a limitation. It's amazing how your body, when it's missing something, your other limbs take off and kind of pick up the slack. So for me, my feet are my hands. Everything that I have in my life, I do with my toes. It's pretty rare that I don't use my feet for something. My phone, for example, how I pick up my phone, I'd actually grab it with my foot and flip it and catch it and be like, hello. When I got started shooting, it took me about 2 weeks from looking at a bow till shooting probably my first arrow because I had to figure out how to hold it with this toe or this foot or that foot. I had to kind of think outside the box and come up with some creative ways of shooting. I actually hold the bow with my right foot, but I will pretend it's somebody's right arm in my mind. And then I have a release aid that goes over my right shoulder and I actually hook that onto the string. And when I sit up, I push my foot away from my chest, which draws the bow. At this point, I'm aiming. I don't see a guy without arm shooting. I see somebody with arm shooting. And I guess it's just how I imagine it. So I did repetitions. I sat in a chair for 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Time kind of slows way down. You forget who's around you. You forget what you're doing almost. And you're so focused on one thing. Shot and shot and shot and shot and shot. That's all I did. This bow right here probably has 1 million arrows shot through it. At the end of the day, you know, helps you become good. A couple medals or trophies that stand out to me is my Paralympic silver medal. I also have the Guinness World Record for the longest accurate archery shot, and I shot an arrow and hit a target from 310 yards away. I want my kids to see that no matter what the challenge is, you can overcome it. You just have to put your head down and push through and figure out a way to be successful. Figure out a way to just, you know, be a good person while you do all that stuff. At the end of the day, I just want to be the best in the world. I don't care if you have arms, you don't have arms. I don't care if you were the Michael Jordan of the sport and you are an able-bodied archer. I just want to beat you because I want to be known as the best archer in the world.
Talk about being authentic. He didn't have a choice. Let me tell you a little bit about Matt. He was born without arms, but that hasn't stopped him from becoming the world's best archer. Best archer. In fact, he competes professionally for the U.S. Paralympic archery team, and he even has set the Guinness World Record for the longest accurate shot in archery. How many people played archery, done archery? That's hard. That's hard. How many bruises have you had? Right? It's not easy at all. And for him to do that, I mean, I saw that and went, oh my God. His words are, no matter what the challenge is, you can overcome it. And that's the real truth. No matter what the challenges are, we can overcome it. It doesn't feel like it in the moment, but if we go down the road just a little bit, we do overcome it. We always do. This entire month is about cultivating authenticity, which to me is, and I've learned this over the time, and I'll talk a little bit about me, but it's about knowing that as we step out into our life in integrity, that's the big thing here, the integrity, is that our real self becomes more valuable to society, more valuable to who we are in the world, more valuable to our children, more valuable to whatever it might be. And we can't be afraid of that. But I'm going to talk a little about being afraid of that. Brene Brown says this. She says, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Embracing who we are. So I'm going to just ask a question that's not in my notes here. How many years did it take you to become authentic?
60 plus.
Me too. I turned 70 and it's like I didn't care anymore. Just got to tell the truth. I just got to say what's going on. We'll talk about the cosmic 2x4 today and the elephant in the room. See, the thing is becoming authentic is not about becoming who you are, but it's about releasing the patterns and the attitudes and the actions that stop us from becoming who we want to be in the world. And sometimes we're influenced by a lot of other people. But during this, we have to become vulnerable and we have to stand in our own truth, which is not easy. It's not easy sometimes. You've all heard the saying, be yourself because everyone else is taken. That's the title, right? But you're all nodding your heads, but my question is, do you really do that? I know you do, but none of But sometimes I think, like, I know for myself, when I was practicing this morning, I was thinking about, well, how do I know when I need to be that? I need to be authentic. And how I know is my heart is going like this in my body. It won't stop until I open my mouth. And that's scary sometimes when you're in a group of other ministers and you have to say what needs to be said in the room. It is not an easy thing to do. But because when we do that, we are sacrificing ourselves to fit in. And we want to fit into that group. We want to fit in and be perfect with the perfect minister. Or we want people to like us. Anybody want anybody to like them? We want people to like us. So as I give my talk today, I'm going to encourage you to do a couple of things. The first one is be authentic to yourself. What are your wants and needs? Are we doing that? And I'm not going to make you raise your hand. But that happens. We give up on who we are. I know at my household, I tend to give and give and give and give. And then it fires back at me that I've given, and then I don't get it back. So I have to really pay attention to how much I do. The second thing is we have to realize, and I know we all say this, I'm a divine being. I'm part of the one. I'm all this. I know that. But we have to, when we get in these situations that feel uncomfortable, we really have to realize that we are one with something greater. And here's the reason why. When we really come from a place of that high note, that high truth of who we are reinforcing who we are, our wholeness. We're saying, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. And sometimes we need that feedback from people. And then the other thing is, which to me is probably, and I talk about this kind of thing all the time, is that we strengthen everybody else's consciousness around us when we are really who we really are. We get it. I mean, the song Inner Space, I mean, I know I ask you to sing this all the time, but think about that song. It's going to the depths of who we are. It's that inner space that needs to be expressed. It's not afraid. So I paraphrased Ernest Holmes by many different ways, but this is my interpretation, what he says. It says, as we discover our divine self, that's the I am, the it, the divine, is back of all things we do, all that we believe ourselves to be, we become a force in the universe to do good things. If there's one thing you get out of being at this center, it's I want you to do good things out into the world. Do more. The world really needs us right now. It really does. And it doesn't have to be this, build a building thing. It can be just walking into a grocery store and a child is crying and the mom is just freaking out and you go, it's going to be okay. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be a big act. It can be little. So how do we do this? Awareness, domestication, know thyself. So the first thing is to realize that we need to cultivate who we are. Now, when we were a baby, are you guys playing over there? I'm going to separate you two.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You showing pictures of your dog? It's okay, Jerry. That's why I love you. But when we're in the mother's womb, we're all protected, right? Everything's cool. We're just fine. But when we're birthed, everything changes. Everything changes. And we learn at that moment who's going to take care of us and who's not going to take care of us. How many people remember, what age were you when you remember as a child you awoke? I was 3 years old. When I kind of 4. I can remember being a little tiny girl in a big bucket. Remember those big buckets they used to have? Still have them, but they're for horses now. Anyway, I was a little tiny girl, and I was in one of those buckets, and I think my mother had just put me outside to watch my brothers and take a bath. But that's my first remembrance of being awoken to something else out there. I don't know what else, why I don't remember sooner than that, but that's when I did. But as we grow up, and I know as I grew up, I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like this person, but then I didn't want to be like my father, and then and then I wanted people not to expect anything from me, and then I wanted people to feel better about me because I was, obeying. Remember those stages? Mm-hmm. Everybody went through it. Yeah. We all went through it. And that's what Don Miguel Ruiz calls domestication, where we're trying to fit in. We're trying to let that, our authentic self hasn't really been released. Now, every once in a while we're lucky enough where that happens as a child. But there are just moments. There are just moments when that happens. But the whole idea is to fit in and get by. Fit in. I played badminton. Oh my God. Trying to fit in. Every year my badminton coach would bring in like 20 kids. And then 1 or 2 would stay because we were ready to stick it out. And talk about a sport where you have to get to know yourself. I think I must have had a red bruise on my leg, because when you play badminton, you get mad at yourself, you go, whap. You hit yourself. Because you're trying to make yourself do the right thing, to fit in, to make the right shot. They called them shots back then. But the truth is that whole process is trying to get to know thyself, to know who we are, to know who that inner self is, that inner space as we grow up. Now, I don't know about you, but, and I know there are quite a few new people here, so I'll just say this again. When I finally had my life destroyed, I'll say it, my friends dropped me off at a religious science church and said, see you in an hour. Literally, they said, see you in an hour. And at that moment, I had to say to myself, what happened? What happened to me? And that was over 40 years. I wandered for 40 years. And so I had to go in and I had to look at me. I had to journal. I went to therapy for 2 years because I didn't trust myself. Has anybody else had that experience? Didn't trust ourselves. And then I did a lot of spiritual practice. And I'm very grateful to be a religious scientist because I think it's like you talked about last night. You know, it's bringing the psychology and the spirituality together to become one so that we understand what's going on within us and yet extending that spirituality to then make us better, to make us whole, to make us know that we're okay just the way we are, no matter what. Because we pick up what I would say erroneous belief systems. Anybody have any of those? Yeah. Like letting my business partner have the checkbook. Oh, I can trust them. No more. Doesn't happen. But what happens is that we end up shrinking back because we don't believe these things, and we have to pull it out and bring it ourselves back. The second thing is we have to cultivate compassion for ourselves. How many of us here have compassion for ourselves? More today maybe than before, right? Yeah. But it doesn't always feel safe, and it doesn't always feel authentic. I think our instinct is to survive. Just survive the madness out there, right? Because there are consequences to not fitting in a group. So as I mentioned earlier, this week I had to live. It's so funny. I have to live. I don't even know I'm living my talk until I have to write it. And then I went, oh, that happened to me this week. But this week I'm in a couple different groups, and I was speaking with my mentor, who's not online. I thought she might be here. Anyway, I was talking to my mentor, and what I was talking about were things that were very difficult. See, as a minister, I have the tendency to stick my foot in my mouth. Because I don't know why, but I always say what needs to be said in the room.
We love you for that.
Oh, well, thank you. But I do that, and then I feel guilty. Anybody feel like that? Yeah. It's a trickle-down effect when this happens. But I have learned I have to be that way, because sometimes you have to say what needs to be said, and even if you can't do anything about it, it still has to be said. So this week I spoke for an hour and a half to my mentor. And part of that was about, and I won't get into my story, but a part of that was about, I want to talk to the new spiritual leader. We have a new spiritual leader. And I really have some thoughts around how do we bring back love? How do we do things maybe a little differently? And I've never been compelled to really go talk to the spiritual leader. So something's happening. Something's happening within me. And so I tell you this because it's not easy to do this. And for me, anyway, it feels like I really want to fit in. And I would say, when I talk to my mentor, I'd say, now I don't mean that I don't care about our organization. I don't mean to be the rebel. I don't mean to be the independent one. I just observe these things. And I know by some of the activities that I've extended myself into other organizations, I know we need love. we need to feel the love. We need to feel the love from each other. And surprisingly, what came back to me was, you're absolutely right. And so the part I want to give to you is the part that I got at the end. And I hope you hear this. And that is, a prayer for me was that I'm perfect, whole, and complete just the way I am, and that whatever I have to say is taken in the right way, and that it's receptive, and that I don't have to feel guilty about any of it. And I was like, wow. And I felt that. Okay, I can say these things. And so I want to give that to you, because sometimes we have to say those things. The thing is, though, we have to think about, how are we going to say those things? Are we going to be mean and vicious? Nah, we've all had stuff happen. We have to think about, how do we want to spiritually bring this forward, so it's not just words, but it's actions. Are you with me on that? Yes. You get it? Okay. Ernest Holmes says this. He says, he invites us to start from the truth. Your soul belongs to the universe. Your mind is an outlet through which the creative intelligence of the universe seeks fulfillment, just like the prayer today. It seeks fulfillment. It needs to grow. We're always going to grow no matter where we are in our lives. It seeks fulfillment. It must be. So that means we need to cultivate compassion for ourselves. Compassion. Who has compassion for themselves, I hope? A little bit? Good. Good. So I want you to recognize yourself as unique human beings. You are all unique. We're all unique. We're all perfect. We're all perfect, whole, and complete. You've heard that a lot. But here's the key. Here's the catch. Take this in. Every single one of you have something to contribute to this life. We're here on earth to do something, and I think that's the key, is to contribute something to make society continue to grow, to continue to get better. We have to embrace all the parts we like about ourselves and the parts we don't. You notice my hips, okay? We have to embrace it all. It's who we are. It's who we are. It just is. And I wrote this down. It says, life is not asking us to be something other than ourselves. It is the self that longs to be revealed and seen. Feel that longing inside of you, wants to be revealed. So to do this, we have to cultivate courage. Courage means that we have to be vulnerable. Good old Brene. Good old Brene. I love Brene. But here's some truth. It's not possible to be seen if we hide. It's just not possible. It's not possible to belong if we're not willing to invite other people in. It's a two-way street. And in order to cultivate authenticity, we have to be vulnerable. You know, I love teaching. And it is the teaching that's most important to me. It's the group that gets together. And the reason why is because over a period of time, and I've had many classes where we become vulnerable with each other. And I'm always blown away because I watch each individual's heart open up and they go, oh, I can be that way too. I'm safe in this group. I can be who I want to be. I had one class where a student, I guess I just hit a button, man. And sometimes I do that, right, everybody? Yeah. They all go, yes. I hit a button, and they just started to cry, and I'm like, and I'd not really had that happen before. And I thought, what am I going to do here? So I went next to them and got on my knees. Got on my knees, and I said, I'm sorry, I really touched something in you. And I let them cry. Now I saw other students being kind of pissed because they were taking up their time, but I knew that's what needed to happen. Because when we really emote that kind of feeling, that means we're healing something that's very deep. And since that individual has changed. They've kind of moved past what it was that was so hard for them. But that's being able to be vulnerable with them and being vulnerable myself. I'm the teacher. I'm supposed to be, oh, yeah, I know everything. I don't. It's about being present with each other and caring about each other. And when we do that, then we grow. We grow individually, we grow inside, and we're able to then, as I always say, give it away. When it's time, we give it away. But during that, we have to learn to really trust ourselves. We have to trust the divine inside of us. Anybody here afraid to say what needs to be said? Everybody raise your hand, yes. We all are. We're all a little afraid at some time. And so what I'm going to encourage you to do is to think about, if it's hard, try something small first. You know, I always, a good example would be, I'll walk up to a conversation that's not really going the right way, and I'll hear it, I'm not really participating, and then I'll say the opposite, and I watch the conversation stop. It's like, oh, didn't think about that. That's small. But then there are big activities, like this one, when you're in a group of peers and you have to say what needs to be said. Just try something, try it, practice it a little bit. The thing is, when we share our heart stories, and it's really from our heart, it's really truth, it's really authentic, there's always somebody in the room that hears it. I gave a talk at Anton, thank you very much for letting me do that. And it was an hour and a half. In fact, I shared this with my mentor. I said, guess, you know what, XYZ would never have let me give that talk because I was vulnerable. I was vulnerable, but I had to say what I had to say. Why, I don't know, but I did. But afterwards, I can't tell you, it probably 80, 90 people there. And at least half of them came up to me and said something to me about their own life, talked about how something had happened to them, and that they were thankful that somebody was willing to say what needed to be said. Now, it wasn't about just my vulnerability, but it was about talking about the vulnerability and what were the lessons. I've shaped this ministry around my lessons because I want you to be authentic. I want everyone in this room to be 100% authentic. Because when you're authentic, what happens is you allow them to be authentic. You allow them to be, them being all of us, to be vulnerable. And when we're vulnerable, our hearts open. And then we become more of who we need to be. And it's okay. And it's safe. What a wonderful thing to give each other. Safety. I was thinking about the archer, Matt, and about his growing up. And I thought, what kind of parents did he have to have? Think about that. Incredible parents who said, when he came crying home with his little arms and going, but they don't like me. And they said, it doesn't matter. We love you. Go out there and do it. And so they didn't say no, they said yes. They kept saying yes to him, and look who he is today. And he got married, and he has children, and now he's telling them, go be out there and do what you can do. Try, don't give it up. How exciting is that? If you're in here today, that's who you are too. You're the same person. I just don't have a video of you every day. Brene Brown says this. She says, courage is a heart word. The root of the word courage is cor, the Latin word for heart. In one of its earliest forms, the word courage meant to speak one's mind by telling all of one's heart. And what a metaphor, the bow and arrow. Speak your heart. Speak your heart. So there are going to be days where you feel like you can do this and days you can't. When you can't, don't do it. When you can, stand in your truth. Don't be afraid of who you are. They put in the talk, courage is what keeps us moving through the valley of the shadow of death. I never thought about it that way, but it's true. It's true. So here's what your homework is for the week. I want you to start looking at yourself and saying, where am I capable or able to do this? And if you're not, okay. Don't worry about it. Let it go. Sometimes it takes time. I know for myself, sometimes it takes me a long, long time to get up the courage to do that. And then once I've done it, I let it go, or I move forward with it. It's whatever that is. Don't force. There's never a force in this. Just know if you get triggered, everybody know what a trigger is, right? If you get triggered, that's a signal that maybe there's something that you want to look at. Don't be afraid of that. The other thing is to be surrounded by your community. I just love it that we have more people here and that we're finally starting to come back. Don't be afraid. Walk out your door. Show up. You need to wear a mask, wear a mask. Nobody cares. Terry Cole Whitaker would say that. Nobody cares. Just show up. Be part of this. And coming to a community that has no judgment. One of the things that I hear a lot of about our community is we don't judge people. It's not about judging. Has anybody not made a mistake lately? Right? I'm the first one. Usually it's in the program. My point is, you come here, you're not going to be judged. We're just going to love you for who you are. And that's what's important to me. So I'm going to leave you with a quote from Emerson, and then we have an affirmation. Today I'm going to read the affirmation to you, and I'm going to emphasize the different words, and invite you to close your eyes at that moment. So here's what Emerson had to say. He says, imitation is suicide. We've all heard that. To live a life as someone other than your authentic self is to not live your life. You are living someone else's life. Cultivating authenticity is not a means to make others accept or approve of you. It is a practice of being real. As we grow to love and approve of ourselves, it is you being authentically you, because everyone else is already taken. Be you. It's so much fun to be with you. You have no idea. So I'm asking you to close your eyes, and I'm going to read the affirmation with emphasis on specific words. And then I'll pray us into our next music. So the affirmation is, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I. You don't have to repeat it. I'm going to repeat it to you. I love myself and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. And so as I close out today's talk, I know that we love and accept ourselves exactly as we are. That we are one with the divine essence, the spirit that moves through each and every one of our lives in so many different ways. I know that it is the heart that guides and directs our every movement, our every breath. I know that as we move through the coming week, that we are not just blessed by who we are, but blessed by the gifts that we give. That Spirit moves through us with goodness and grace, courage and vulnerability, and knowing that all of those combined brings us to a place of truth. And so I bless each person here today, knowing that you are here to hear the message, to hear the music, to be with the technology for all those that are online and those that are going to hear this later, that you are here to know something greater about yourself and greater about what the gift is that you have to give. And so I just give great thanks for today, for this very simple talk about being authentic and knowing that Spirit is moving through each and every one of us in every different way that we live. And so with that, I give great thanks. I let it be, and so it is. Amen. And let's bring back. Would you like some water? Oh, you got some? Okay. Let's bring back our music. Yeah.